Hey Divination, thank you for joining us in this live stream. Today we'll show you how to add a drop-down contact form to your Divi global header, and we'll also use the dry cleaning layout pack to base our style off. So you can check that layout pack out by going to one of the links in the description below. And if you're not Elegant Themes member yet, make sure that you check out Divi. I've mentioned a link to the product page where you can go ahead and discover everything for yourself. So without any further ado, let's get to it. All right, let's start out by taking a quick look at the dry cleaning layout pack, which we'll use in this live stream tutorial. So the contact form that we'll create will match this layout pack, but bear in mind that you can use any kind of style you want. You can tweak the design to make it match with your own needs. So if I go to elegantthemes.com/layouts, I'll be able to see all of the different layout packs that come with Divi for free. And if I scroll down, I'll come across the dry cleaning layout pack. So this is the overall look and feel that you can expect from this layout pack. And let's just switch over to this tutorial and what we'll create and how that will look. So if I go to this desktop preview of my tutorial, and I'll just refresh really quick, I have this custom built global header at the top. And if I click on Contact Us, a contact form appears. And I can fill all of these fields in and submit the contact form. Now, on smaller screen sizes, I have a similar outcome. So again, people can click on Contact Us, and they can fill out these different fields and submit the question that they have, or just the inquiry in general. So if you click on it again, it disappears. Same goes for the desktop version. Now we'll recreate this entire global header from scratch, and we'll add the functionality. So the thing you need is a website with some pages on. So I have that over here. This is the default Divi menu at the top. And I'll just go to the back end of my website. And before I go any further, I'm just going to check to see if anyone's joining me on YouTube or on Facebook. So if you guys have any questions, you can leave a message there, and I'll try to follow up with you guys every now and then to answer any questions you might potentially have. All right, so once you go to the back end of your WordPress website, you can go to the Divi theme builder by going to Divi and theme builder over here. And over here, you'll find the default website template. We'll start building a global header from scratch. So the one that I've just shown you guys, this one over here. And to do that, we'll just click on Add Global Header and Build Global Header. Now, as usual, you'll get three options over here. You can start building from scratch, choose a pre-made layout, or clone an existing page. And we'll start the creation process from scratch by clicking on Start Building over here. And as usual, we have a section already here, and we can start working with that one. So the first thing I'm going to do over here is open the section settings. And I'm going to use an entirely white background color for my section. And then I'll go to the design tab over here, to the spacing settings, and I'm going to remove all default top and bottom padding by adding 0 pixels to both options over here. And I'll also use a subtle box shadow. So I'm just going to use this first option over here and increase the blur strength to 50 pixels. And I'm also going to use a slightly softer shadow color. Let me just add it over here. So this is the color code. And if you want to follow everything step by step, you can go to the blog post in the description below. You can find all of the color codes there and everything written down if you'd rather just go through the process step by step. But of course, you can just follow this tutorial, this video, and the video will be available afterwards as well. All right, so now that you have the basic section settings in place, you can add a new row, and I'm going to use the following column structure over here. So It contains 3 columns, as you can see, but they're not equally sized. And before I add any modules, I'm going to open the row settings. And I'm going to modify the sizing settings in the design tab. So let me add those sizing settings over here. I'm using custom gutter width with a value of 1. I'm also modifying the width to 95%. I'm enabling equalized column heights, and I'm using a max width of 100%. Next up, I'll go to the spacing settings, and I'm just going to add a 1 VW for the top and bottom padding, just to create a bit of space. So our unit of choice throughout this tutorial is VW, so viewport width, and you'll notice that we're using this value throughout all of the elements that we'll add and tweak, and it will just ensure us that everything remains responsive, especially considering the different menu items in your menu. If you don't want to cause them to break into 2 lines, this is a good way to approach it. But you're free to use another unit of your choice as well. Over here in the advanced tab, I'm going to go to the main elements, and to center all column content, I'm going to use 1 line of CSS code in combination with the equalized column heights. So if you enable that option and you add this CSS line to the row's main elements, it will cause the column content to align, which we want. And then I'll just click on OK over here. And one more final thing we have to do before we start adding modules is increase the Z index of our second column. So I'll just open the second column over here, and I'll increase the Z index in the position settings over here to 12. And this will just give priority to the second column instead of the third. And that's really necessary for smaller screen sizes, since we want the menu items to show up above the Contact Us drop-down contact form. So if I click on this over here, you can see it overlaps the contact form. So the priority still remains the menu and all of its items. All right, now we can start adding modules, starting with an image module in column 1. And this image module will just represent your logo. Let me just add a logo of my choice. And then I'll go to the design tab, and I'm using center image alignment. I'm also going to modify the width of my module across different screen sizes. And again, I'm using VW. So 3 VW on desktop, 5 VW on tablet, and 7 VW on phone. Now, before I move on to the second column where we'll need a menu module, I'm just going to check to see if there's any questions so far. So again, guys, if you have any questions, make sure that you leave a message in the comment section on Facebook or the chat on YouTube. So I just see people are joining in: Nicole, Alfredo, David, Mohammed, all on YouTube. So if you guys have any questions, I'll leave them there. All right, let's continue on to the menu modules. So the things we're doing now are pretty basic. We've done it before. We're just styling the menu, and afterwards we'll focus on the drop-down contact form. So over here in the middle, we'll just add a menu module, and we'll modify the layout to centered. We'll also modify the menu text settings. Let me just grab those values really quick and share them with you guys. So these are, let me just open this once again so you guys can see the changes. So we're using semi-bold for the font weight. We're also using a different text size. So 0.8 VW for desktop, 2 VW for tablet, and 3 VW for phone. And we'll also add some letter spacing, so 1 pixel over there. Next up, we'll change the line color over here. So this is the color code we're using for it. And also the hamburger menu icon color. Let me grab that as well and add it over here. So again, we're using that same color code. So this matches the dry cleaning layout pack really well, but feel free by all means to change everything around and just create the design of your choice. And now we can move on to the third column, and there, let me just switch back to the outcome over here. We'll need 3 modules. So we have this. This looks like a button module, but instead we're using a text module for it. Then we'll also use a text module for this arrow over here, and a contact form module. So we'll start with the first text module that will turn into a button. And let me just add contact us over here to the body. You can obviously add any kind of copy you want. Next up, we'll change the background color into that same blue color code. We'll change the text settings as well. Let me just add those over here. So these are the settings we're using. We're using a bold font weight, a white text color, 0.8 VW for desktop, 2 VW for tablet, and 3 VW for phone. And we're also changing the text alignment to center. Next up, we'll modify the sizing of our module. So we'll shrink it slightly and also place it in the center by applying these changes. So 33% for the width, and we'll change the module alignment as well. Then we'll go to the spacing settings and we'll add a bit of custom padding across different screen sizes. So these are the values that we're using: 0.8 VW for desktop for both options, and then 2 VW for top and bottom on tablet and phone. So you can find these values in the blog post as well. Or yeah, just use 0.8 VW for desktop and 2 VW for phone. Next up, we'll add some rounded corners as well to turn this into a button of our choice. So we're using 100 pixels to create a maximum result. On to the next module, which again is a text module. We'll use this symbol. You can find the symbol in your character map, or you can just go to the blog post and copy, paste it, or use the JSON file where that's also included. It's just a symbol that we're using to create that kind of desired outcome. I'll change the text settings of this module. So I'm using 3 VW for the text size and 1 EM for the text line height, center text alignment as well. And then I'm also going to increase the Z index to 11. And just give me 1 second, guys. Okay, sorry, I'm back. Let me just increase the Z index over here in the position settings to 11. This will just make sure that it appears on top of the contact form module. So next up, we'll add the contact form module. And before I go any further, I'll just take one more look at the comment section. See, a lot of people are joining in. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to leave a comment over there. All right, I'll continue. So I'll just add a contact form module. So you can add any kind of fields you want and turn them full width as well. We'll also use a title. Let me just add that over here. We'll use a background color as well, which looks like this. Again, you can modify this according to your own needs. And then we'll move on to the design tab and change the field settings accordingly. So we'll use a white background color. We'll use a fields text color containing this color code. We'll change the focus text color. We'll use fields padding. So 1 VW for desktop, 2 VW for tablet, and 3 VW for phone. And we'll change the font into Open Sans, but it's the same as the default one, so I'll just keep it the way it is. We'll use 0.7 VW on desktop for the text size, 1.8 VW for tablet, and 3 VW for phone. And let me just modify the title text settings as well. So I'll just share these settings with you. You can find them in the blog post. But then we'll focus on the important part, and that's creating a drop-down contact form. So these are the settings that we're using over here. But again, you can find these in the blog post. So just important to share is the text size, 1 VW for desktop, 2 VW for tablet, and 3 VW for phone. And I'll also add some captcha text over here. I'll just stay the same, and we'll just change the color into this color code over here. And we'll also modify the button. Using the following settings. So 0.8 VW for desktop, 2 VW for tablet, and 3 VW for phone. And let me just show you guys the color codes over here. This is white. Border radius as well. We'll use a bold font weight, and then we'll go over here to the button spacing settings, 1 VW to the top margin. And all of these values over here. Then I'll go to the spacing settings, and I'm just going to add some space around my contact form. 4 VW for the top and the bottom, and 2 VW for the left and right. And these values change across different screen sizes. And I'll also add 10 pixels to the border settings over here. And I'll also need to add just a few lines of CSS code to the advanced tab, just to style it a bit more. So I'm using 20 pixels for the border radius of my entire contact form. I'll add a bit of bottom margin to the contact title. And I'm also adding some top margin to the captcha field. Alright, so now we have all our modules in place, and the next part focuses on creating that drop-down contact form. So there's a few steps to this, and let me just get back to you in a sec for that. Alright, so I'm back. And the first thing you'll need to do is modify the column height of the third column. I'm just going to open this over here, go to the Custom CSS tab, and I'll modify the height across different screen sizes. So 3 VW on desktop and 5 VW on tablet and 6 VW on phone. So this is modified to match the different screen sizes. So as you can see right now, it's already changing the height of the entire global header over here. And the next step is adding a CSS class to both the first and second text modules. So this will just allow us to trigger action on clicks. So this is the CSS class we're using. It's called show context. And I'll add it to both options over here. And then I'll also add a CSS class to the contact form itself. It's called contact form module, so you can change this into whatever as long as you change it in the code as well. And then I'll also make sure that I hide this in its default state by adding display equals none to the contact form in the main element area over here. Now the only thing left to do is add some CSS code and some jQuery code, and we'll place this in the second column, but you can basically place this anywhere you want. We'll just use a code module, and I'll just copy paste this over here. So as soon as one of the two text modules is clicked, the contact form will slide toggle, so it will slide down and toggle and show up. And over here we have some small CSS changes as well that we're using. So you can find all of this code by reading it off the screen, or just going to the blog post, copy and pasting it, or just download the JSON file that is included in the blog post. So I'm just gonna save this. I'll just double check the CSS classes to make sure they're all added over here. So show contact for the first and second text module. And I'll just switch over to wireframe view to check for the contact form. This one says contact form module, and then I'll just save my global header I just built. Exit the theme builder and go over here to check out how it looks. So it works perfectly if you go through all of those steps. And of course, bear in mind that you can tweak the design as much as you want to create your desired outcome, as you can see on the screen. So I'll just check one more time to see if you guys have any questions. Someone's asking, does it all, Robin on Facebook, does it also work with the module Divi Gravity form? Well, I haven't worked with Divi Gravity form before, but I'm assuming it will, as long as you can add the CSS class and the jQuery code and CSS code. So with a little bit of tweaking, that should work fine. Right, I don't see any more questions. So thank you for watching this live stream. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up, and we hope that you're enjoying this ongoing Divi design initiative where we try to put something extra into your design toolbox each and every week. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye.